Hi guys, it is an absolutely gorgeous Saturday here. The sun is shining. It is not, however, very warm. I think it's only about 6 degrees, a little on the burr side, but it is absolutely beautiful. The sky is blue and the sun is shining, and it's a perfect spring day if it would just warm up a little bit.
A little bit.
Little bit. Mr. Man is in fighting form today. He's been up early and slammed together everything we needed to do for today and took Miss Dot out in her new wheels. Miss Dot has her wheelchair finally arrived.
Yay!
So she get to go out and scoot around the neighborhood in that.
I got a picture.
It's got a picture.
There it is. There's Miss Dot in her wheelchair.
Yeah, her go faster boots.
Yeah. She's not going fast yet.
She's not going fast yet, but she's getting there. Word from the vet is that she has necrosis of the spinal column. So there is a chance that she may recover use of her legs, but there's also a chance that she may not. So
Ascending and descending necrosis.
yeah, ascending and descending necrosis. So
We're hoping for the descending.
we're hoping that it actually improves with a little rehabilitation and time. But as it stands right now, she's styling in her nice bright red wheels. So
Yep.
she's rocking and rolling now. So, but we still have a happy, healthy pup, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
What else? I had a few other things to talk about today. Oh yeah. I've been keeping an eye on the Random Act of Kindness page the last few days, and I got to tell you, there's a few people that need a serious shout out here. Two in particular, the White Mountain Decorative Painters. I taught a class with them this winter. Absolutely spectacular group of people. They did 350 hand-painted gifts, tags, bookmarks, eggs, all sorts of goodies in support of a VA home for veterans in Tilton, New Hampshire. 350, nice. Really nice. And Lisa Shaw and her Friends with Flowers group had 506 gifts for 3 facilities, 1 seniors complex, and for Meals on Wheels. So that is absolutely awesome. So big kudos, big shout out to the White Mountain Decorative Painters and to Lisa Shaw and Friends with Flowers. You guys are amazing. I am absolutely in awe of what you guys have been doing for our seniors and for our veterans, especially right now. The times are a little tough for them. And what else? What else? What else? What else? I'm just looking at the back of his head.
I don't know.
And I started playing with some new stuff yesterday. I don't know. I find the weirdest things on eBay. And I bought a box of these bags because I love these.
I can't see it.
They can't see it. These are those, yeah, of course, I'm like wrong camera. Hello. That's these vintage style bags. These are 6x9. I really like this vintage print. It's very cool. And it's great for doing backgrounds and things like that and decoupage.
Looks like something I'd get my fish and chips in.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's kind of cool. Anyway, I decided to try redoing an older pattern using that paper, and I just love it. Love how these turned out. They're really cute. So we put a bunch of these up on the website. They're I think there's 5 in a pack for $2 or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. So there's enough in there to do, 10 pieces, depending on the size. But yeah, it's a lot of paper. But these are a lot of fun. And today we're going to play with some new stencils. And Renee's favorite, the postage stencil.
Yeah.
I think if I do one more project with postage stencil, he's going to kill me. We waited for the longest time for our shipment to come in with those postage stencils. So we had orders backed up waiting for those. And we finally got all of them out. And then I promptly reordered more postage stencils because I needed some for an upcoming class. And somewhere along the line, I think I duplicated an order because now we have so many. But it's all good.
Kind of a good thing.
It's all good. I'd rather have too many than not enough because we've seen what that causes. So So today we're going to paint sunflowers. I absolutely love sunflowers, and spring seemed like a good time to do it.
Easter.
Although Easter weekend, it's usually tulips and things like that, you know, bunny leaves and
Bunny leaves.
bunny leaves. But I thought sunflowers would be fun. This one is also a really old pattern. I think this one is from like 2009, 2008. It's an old design.
Wow.
So, and which was causing a lot of heartache and headache for some of you trying to download this pattern because the file is, one, it's large, and two, it's an older format. Some of you are really having trouble getting it downloaded. You get 1 or 2 pages or just the cover sheet. So what we're doing is, if you place an order for it, if you're having any trouble, just send me a message through the website and we will email it to you right away if you're having any kind of an issue with it. We are going to get that file fixed. And I also want to update it a little bit, update the pattern file a little as well. So I apologize for the inconvenience that that's caused, but we are trying to get it sorted out. So I think I'm about ready to start playing in paint. How about you?
I actually got a good message from Paula Randall.
Paula Randall, yes.
Or Paula R. I think it's
Yeah.
Randall.
Rensdell or...
Ransdell.
Yeah.
I love the rack page. I paint small items attached to index cards with uplifting sayings, and then he sets them on an empty space on a shelf at a grocery store when they go shopping.
Oh, how nice. So like found art. That's a great idea.
That's awesome.
It uplifts people, you know. Yeah. There's nothing like finding a fun little something when it's, you know, either the most needed or the least expected. That's great.
What is it called? Random Acts of Kindness All Year Round.
Yep.
Is the rack page. Go
All
check
year
it out.
long, yeah, is the rack page on Facebook.
Come join.
Yeah, come and join the group. There's just some amazing people on there. Lisa
Doing
Shaw
amazing
and her-
things.
Yeah, doing amazing things. Lisa Shaw was on there. Her name escapes me, and I'll apologize now. She posted these beautiful hand-painted crosses, and with ribbons and whatnot attached for the holidays. They're absolutely gorgeous. And she had, I don't know, probably 25 or 30 of them, all painted up to give away, which I thought was spectacular. People are doing small things for neighbors and for friends and for teachers and nurses. I've been watching some of the pieces that they've been putting together for nurses and medical staff and frontline staff, and that's just phenomenal.
Her grandson puts them on the shelves.
Oh, nice. Get the grandkids involved. Get the kids involved. Get everybody involved. A little kindness goes a long way.
Oh, man. Lots of messages today.
Lots of messages. Everybody
All
chatty.
Let's get painting.
Let's get painting. So I base coated my surface. I'm using a 12 by 12 canvas just to demo this stenciling.
Uh-oh.
What?
People are going to ask about your desk.
Oh, the desktop.
You don't have your silicone
I
thing
don't,
down?
because it's filthy. Look at this. This is pretty cool. My partner in crime, Miss Deb, turned me on to this. This is actually a repositionable wallpaper.
Okay.
And I covered the desktop. It's a vinyl, so it's washable. And so I covered the ugly desktop with it. I thought it was pretty. I like it.
It's different.
Makes for a nice desktop. So, yeah. So we're using 2 stencils for this one. We're using that postal stencil. I know, Renee's so thrilled.
Yay.
So we have that postal stencil, and we're using that new bumblebee with the wreath. I really like this stencil. I think it's very pretty. So I'm going to position it. I'm working on canvas. So I'm going to position it, and I'm going to tape it into place.
Get that bottle of Josiah's glaze out of there. There we go. Now you have a palette.
Now I have a palette. And we're going to use asphaltum for this.
Of course.
No, really.
Who knew?
I was going through my paint cabinet today looking for some sunny day.
You don't have any sunny day?
I don't have any sunny day, which is my favorite yellow. I have a little bit left. I don't know if I'll have enough, but I have a little bit left. And and I was looking for my bottle of Josiah's fast drying glaze, which I still have not found. But
That's...
I did find 4 bottles, big 8-ounce bottles of titanium white. And I've been running around looking for white. But yeah, I bought a bottle of Crafter's acrylic in titanium white thinking I was out of white. And then I find 4 8-ounce bottles of white in my cabinet. So, oops. I've got lots of white paint.
Not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing, except it looks like I'm hoarding. So I'm using a 3/4 inch Dynasty Stencil Pro. This is that synthetic stencil brush. I like this bigger size for this stencil simply because it's going to work a lot faster than trying to do it with a small one. So I'm going to load it up and then brush it out well so that I got, a decent amount of paint in it. And then I'm going to blot the brush on my shop towel. And then in a circular fashion, and change directions frequently, I'm going to stencil.
Apparently it looks like a murder hornet.
It does look like a murder hornet.
Jessica Killeran asks, where did you get the wallpaper?
The wallpaper, I found it on Amazon. It was on, I think it was like $22 or something like that for a whole roll. So I did the whole desktop, and then I actually did a canvas board like this. Like it's a big old canvas board. I think this one is like 12 by 24. And I'm using that for photo backdrop. So if I need to take nice pictures of something, I have a nice backdrop. So I still had a little bit left over even after doing that. So it worked out quite well. It was very easy to put down on the tabletop, and it was very forgiving. And because it's repositionable, it was, if I got it on crooked, I could move it.
This is why I'm not allowed to have a microphone. I'm going to keep burping into it.
Well, it's not the F-bomb.
Hey, haven't said one yet.
I know.
I say yet because
It could happen.
it could happen. I don't know why they call it an F-bomb.
We have one in the decorative painting industry. It's called floating.
Oh, you didn't talk about the new stencil.
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of obsessed with sunflowers these days. So one of the ladies there mentioned that she got in a little bunny stencil. Yeah. You'll probably notice as you're getting your stencil orders arrive in, we've been inserting a little thank you card into them because we appreciate your patience. And for those that have been purchasing stencils, you've been getting a mini stencils. We've had a different one. We change it up every couple of months. We did a snowflake around Christmas time, and then after Christmas, what was it we did after Christmas?
Shamrock.
Shamrock, yeah, we did one from March for
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day, and then for Easter, we did the little bunny. And because we're painting sunflowers, I got a little obsessed, so now we have another new mini, and it's a sunflower. So if you have an order pending and you've got a stencil order in, you will be getting one of these little sunflower stencils with your shipment. So that is that. Those are really fun. They're great for journaling. They're a nice compact size, so you can use them for a variety of things. They're easy to work with. So I've stenciled my bee in place. I love how that looks.
Burp away, you're only human?
Oh, please don't say that.
Well then, challenge accepted.
He could break the sound barrier.
Yeah.
So I like to have a variety of different things in the background. So I'm going to use my postage because I really like this stencil, in case you haven't noticed that I use it in almost everything.
I'm going to zoom in.
You must zoom in.
I'm going to lose the palette for a second. So I got to zoom in. Dun-dun, dun-dun.
So essentially all I'm doing with this piece is just filling up some blank space. I don't like to see things too, I don't know, they just look boring if they're,
There you go. Thank you.
if things aren't filled in, if they don't have some pattern back there, it just creates a little interest in in the background. There we are.
Oh, yeah. You got to hit the like button if you want to get entered into the giveaways.
Yep.
And we got some funky looking giveaways here.
Oh yeah, we have some nice giveaways today. We have a 2-brush set of Dynasty Blue Ice. We have 2 of them. And I think we have a stencil set to give away too. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
dun dun dun.
What is this one called? It's a round of some sort.
Yeah, it's a Dynasty Blue Ice round.
And a flat wave.
And that one is, yeah, flat wave. Well
Look at
done
me.
you. Look at you.
Show. Blue ice round.
So there's a Blue Ice round.
And the flat wave.
And this is the flat wave. So we have 2 of these to give away. So remember, you got to hit that like button. If you want to get entered, leave us a comment. So I've got a little bit on there, but I was playing with this the other day and just, I got bored, which is always, you know, a dangerous thing. A bored Tracy is a dangerous thing. So I dug out my stamp pad and my favorite vintage note stamp because I wanted to put a little more in here. Because, you know, ooh, that's a very juicy stamp pad.
Juicy?
Juicy.
Never heard.
You'll see what I mean. It's juicy. I just wanted to put a little more pattern in here. So I just took that vintage note and put a few little thingies in.
Painting with Deb.
Painting with Deb.
Yeah, she got a sale.
Oh yeah, Deb's got a stamp sale on right now. Big time. She's got a coupon code there too.
Oh.
You'll find it on her website.
We get. Oh yeah, she's not on yet. She hasn't had coffee.
No, she hasn't had coffee.
Not quite
yet.
human yet.
So I just tucked a few little stenciled bits in and stamped bits in just to, you know, give it a little interest. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be random. It can be go whichever way you want. I tend to put things on horizontally, but you don't really have to worry too much about it. It just sort of breaks up that surface. So I'm going to take the dryer to this. I love this thing. This is such a cool little rig.
So
Yeah, that
clever.
stamp is really juicy. Must be a new one.
Is it not?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
You don't even have it labeled.
I don't even have it labeled yet. That's how new it is. So I'm going to dry this. And then we're going to antique the edges of this.
Oh, you want to answer a question?
Sure.
It's more of a statement, but you can
A
help them.
quizzical one.
Every time I stencil, it bleeds and becomes a mess. This is very neat.
This is very neat. Let me show you real quick what the secret is, because there is a little bit of one to stenciling. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and we'll talk about that, because it's an excellent question.
Not really a question, but
So rule number 1, and I know it sounds really trite and stupidly simple, but it is important, is to secure the stencil in at least one place, preferably even 2. I tend to hold my stencil down even if it is taped, but tape it down a couple of places. Now, loading your stencil brush, you want to get a little bit of paint on that brush and then swirl it on the surface in both directions. Now, I say this all the time. When you're applying it, work the stencil brush in both directions. So go in one direction first and then change directions. And if change directions frequently, it helps distribute the paint more evenly. So now we have a nice even distribution of paint in the brush. Then you're going to go to your paper towel and you're going to blot it. The reason you do that is so that you don't have gobs of paint in your brush, because if you have too much paint, it will slip underneath the stencil and you will get bleeding. Now, the second thing you have to do is to work in a circular fashion, just like loading the brush, and then change directions frequently. And that helps distribute the paint evenly throughout the image. If you go in just one direction constantly, the paint will gather on one side of the stencil. And then it will reach a certain point and it will breach, meaning the paint will slide underneath the image, and you don't want that. So when it gets to the point where you're not seeing any more paint, reload, blot. Now, I'm using a very light touch. There's no need to work hard to do this. Work in a circular fashion, gentle pressure. If you are pushing the stencil brush down like this, you're putting way too much pressure on it. It should swirl like this, but it should not bend. So swirl, but not bend. So a little bit of paint, change directions, blot, circular fashion, change directions frequently. And I think the biggest key is to not try to get everything done in one go. People think that if they've got more paint on the brush, they won't have to go back and load it as often. And what you end up with is no ability to control how the paint works on the surface. So, nice light touch.
And a good stencil brush makes the difference.
And a good stencil brush makes all the difference. Yeah. So there I have, my whole surface is covered. Now this is where that second piece of tape comes in handy. You're going to lift your stencil up and have a look and see if it's done to your satisfaction. I don't like to say done because done means you're finished, but if you are not finished and it's not satisfactory to you, you could drop it right back into place. Pick up a little more paint, blot. I wanted a little shadow down one side of my bee. And then, there we go. So now I have nice, clean, crisp image. And that's how you do it. Easy peasy, says she.
How do you clean your stencils? You don't.
I do so, just not very often.
Rubbing alcohol?
A little bit of hand sanitizer, you know. Brush cleaner, Decor's brush cleaner works beautifully too, but hand sanitizer is one of the easiest ways to clean them.
Avoid using hot water.
Yes, avoid using hot water on a stencil. It will stretch your mylar.
And then you got wonky looking stencil.
Then you get a stencil that is almost impossible to use. So I'm going to take a little bit of hand sanitizer, squeeze it over my stencil. Remember,
Windex also works. Yeah.
So I just took my dirty stencil brush that I just used to put all that paint on.
So she's cleaning the brush and the stencil at the same time.
And I just scrub. And two things happen. I clean my stencil.
She just stenciled on, she's got a new design for Bounty. Yeah.
No.
New design for Bounty.
So, I mean, you could see that cleaned off the worst of it. You could simply run this under cool water and take off the rest. But the nice part is that by using that hand sanitizer, I also cleaned my stencil brush. It's a little bit of hand sanitizer. Now, it's not going to hurt this brush because this is a synthetic. If it was a natural hair, I'd be concerned about it breaking over time, but look at that.
How do you keep the ink stamping from smearing?
Just don't touch it till it's dry. If you don't want the ink to smear, don't touch it until it's completely dry. That's why I take that little dryer to it. I'm using, this is a Stays-On stamp pad too. So it's permanent. And it does dry quickly. It's a solvent-based ink, so it is not bothered by the acrylic paint whatsoever. So now, what did I do with my BAB? I keep sliding it out of the shot and he keeps dragging it back. So now we have to make this look a little bit distressed. And I'm going to do that with my BAB.
Your BAB?
My BAB, my big ass brush.
You said ass.
I did. So I'm going to float into the corners of this piece with asphaltum, like so, and down the outside edge. And I'm just using water for this. I want a nice wide float. All around the outside edge.
They're laughing at the fact that I keep moving it back into the frame.
Somebody's got to keep a grip on me. So I'm going to dry this real quick and then you guys just keep entertaining him.
I went out to Michael's and went crazy buying Stays-On ink pads. Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome. You're lucky you can find them. Our Michael's did not have any. And I only had one that was unpackaged, so.
That must be the problem. The wrong ink pad. No?
Well, there are some, depending. There are certain ones that just don't work with acrylic paints, water-based, anything. So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to deepen that.
What was the initial base coat?
I just used buttermilk on mine.
It's a very yellow-white.
Now I'm going to brush a little of that asphaltum over everything now. I've got my corners darkened. So I'm just going to put a layer of asphaltum, just a wash of it over everything.
Just age it, or?
Just to tone it down so I don't have this bright spot in the middle of the piece.
Wow.
And it gives it sort of a little bit of a stria. Now, if you're working on canvas, you can take that whole effect all the way around the outside edge so that you have a nice dark shadow going all the way around the edge of the canvas. It just gives it a more finished look like that.
Are we fighting over the sample?
If I just like how this looks. I like that little bit of a stamped image. The original piece didn't have that in it, but I just thought it was a nice addition.
Can I see the bottle of asphaltum? Sure. It's just
Right there.
Americana asphaltum.
Yep.
It's color code.
The color number on it is DA 180. Can you grab my catalog for me?
Your catalog?
My catalog.
You have a catalog.
I have a catalog.
Decor
My
2020?
decor catalog. First one. First one. Other side. There you go.
Not labeled.
So, yeah, I haven't got that one done yet. I got my copy of the Decor, the new 2021 Decor product catalog last week, and this is what I do with mine. And there's a good reason, because drives me nuts trying to find item numbers and color numbers. So I take each page of the catalog and I put it into page protectors and I tab them so that I know where every single product within the Decor product line is. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what good would that do? Well, this is one of the biggest things, is if I'm looking for a color, especially if you're searching online for something, 99% of the time, it's much easier to type in the item number than it is the color name. So that number is listed right on the color in the catalog. So especially if you don't have any left and you didn't keep the bottle. If you're looking for the item number on the bottle, it's usually on the left-hand side of the label right above the UPC code, and it's DA180 for asphaltum. And you can search on companies like Dick Blick and Hofcraft and whatnot. You can search for those colors based on that DA number. It's usually more accurate than the name. So I keep that handy. Also, when I'm writing articles or writing blog posts and whatnot, or technical things, or doing product testing and things, we need those item numbers. And so having it handy makes a big difference. And so this is a great reference. The other thing, and somebody asked me this the other day, if Deckwart discontinues a color and I need something close, then all you have to do is look for the colors in it. So I have this year's, but I keep last year's, so I always have a reference. So if there's a color in my 2019 or 2020 catalog that is discontinued, I can look for its comparable color in the new catalog just by looking at the color charts. So it makes things simpler for matching up and finding colors. So if you're looking for a copy of this, you can find it on the product page. So you go to deckwart.com, click on products, and on the right hand side right below the title you will see the 2021 catalog, and it's in PDF form, so you can download it, keep it on your computer, or you can print yourself off a copy and have it stacked up in a binder like I did.
And there's some new colors in there too, isn't there?
All of the new colors are in. That's been my color of the week for the last 2 weeks, is showing off all of those new colors. They're amazing. Not a dud in the bunch. There's great colors this year. So that is just about dry. A couple of little spots there where it's a little sketchy, but it's all good. So I want to do my edges. See if I can keep it in the shot. That would be nice, says he.
Not even close. I'm kidding.
Need a gun. Some days, I'm telling you. So there is our... So I've got my edges done. Now, if you're working on a wood surface, you can take a little piece of sandpaper and distress this a little bit, or there's all kinds of fun things you can do with it. So I'm going to dry this again real quick, and then we're going to do the final aging on this. And I'm going to use soft black for that. I like soft black. It has a reddish tinge to it. It's nice and warm. I just find that lamp black is a little too cold and a little too harsh. So I prefer to stick with my soft black. And that is this color here, Deckwart Soft Black, and the item number is DA155. Soft black, great color, love it. And my my shop towels keep disappearing. There we go. So I got a little piece of, rinse this out.
I got jelly beans.
You got jelly beans, good for you. So I'm going to float again with that nice wide brush. I'm going to use a little bit of that soft black, particularly in the corners.
I ate a jelly bean,
Uh-huh.
and all I could think of is, fireball. Wait, no, that's cinnamon. Tastes like fireball. You mean cinnamon? What's that? Oh.
You were thinking about Dad's joke.
It tastes like fireball. And to non-alcoholic families, that is cinnamon.
So that little bit of soft black, I'm just taking it out to the outside edge. I just want to darken those corners and edges a little bit.
It's my Bible in a binder.
It is my Bible in a binder. I absolutely, it's one book in the studio that gets opened on the daily.
What brushes are you using?
The one I'm using today is a Dynasty Faux Squirrel. This is a full 1-inch angled shader. I love this one because it holds a ton of water and a ton of paint.
And now the comments about Fireball are coming up.
Fireball and Diet Coke.
That is a horrible whiskey. I don't even consider it whiskey.
It's just cinnamon flavored whiskey.
And I'm a whiskey guy, but I don't drink anymore. I like good whiskey.
So there, I have my corners. Now, you can adjust these, darken them as much as you want or as little as you want. That's entirely up to you. I really like to have the corners darkened. I find I really like that look. I do this in a couple of different ways. I've done it using, high-tech applicator where you just use a little bit of shop towel and some water and
Coffee.
put that color in. But I do like that little bit of soft black in the corners. It just ages things nicely. So this one is all set to have the image traced on and then ready to get started. So I'm going to set this one aside. What's that?
Ready to get started
Again. So I have this one is on a 12 by 12. That is a badly beaten liner brush. That's what that is.
Cat hair in it.
Oh.
Is it one of them new cat hair brushes?
No. So this one is a 12 by 12 wood panel.
Is there a bad whiskey? Yeah, Fireball.
Is there bad whiskey? That's like asking if there's a bad wine. Yes.
There is bad wine. There is bad whiskey. There is bad scotch.
Well,
And there's horrible beers.
I just wanted to deepen mine a little bit around the outside edge. It's not quite dark enough to
Is
suit
there
me.
a bad whiskey? It's called Fireball.
There's some people that really love Fireball. I know Sandy likes it with his Diet Coke, and I'm not a fan of whiskey. I don't drink anything brown. Bad things happen.
There's certain drinks that require Fireball. And
Okay.
I well, in order, like, it's part of their mix.
Yeah.
And some of them are really good. But if I'm drinking whiskey straight, I'm usually Jameson, usually 10 to 15-year-old Jameson.
Jameson is an Irish whiskey.
Yeah. And that's probably one of my favorites. Because it goes down way too easily.
So,
I think one St. Patrick's Day, I literally told the bartender just to leave the bottle.
that would not be a good thing.
And I finished it and started a new one.
Yeesh.
And he looked at me, he's like, "You gonna be okay to get home?" I'm like, no.
I just drank a
Somebody
bottle of
else is driving.
That's not even good.
But it was a good party.
First of all, it was Irish whiskey.
What about rum?
No.
Depends on the rum.
Bad things. Bad things. Okay, so I have my rudimentally. I have it basically base coated. Synonym, that's the word you use when you can't think of the right one.
Cinnamon?
Synonym.
Cinnamon. Yeah, peach fresca. No.
Ew.
No. Ew. Love gin. Oh. You.
No, I have horrible.
Ew.
So I used, to base coat this, I used marigold.
And subject change.
Well, we're here to paint, not mix drinks.
Well, the two go together, don't they?
Sometimes. You've never been to a painting convention. You have no idea what goes on. So I used marigold, which is this, I love this yellow. Decor actually has a new yellow added to it called deep ochre, and it's like 2 values deeper than this. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to see those new colors. Have them in my hot little hands.
I like to paint with peach vodka.
It depends on the vodka.
Yeah, I guess. Peach?
Actually, one of my favorite vodkas is a grapefruit one. It's just delicious.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Peach. You know
And
me
what's the other
peach.
one? Yeah, peach is you and your father. No, nothing peach. So I just base coated in all these petals with that marigold. I don't know what the pattern actually originally called for. I'm running painfully low on a bunch of colors. So, and of course they're all colors that I generally use on a regular basis that I'm running out of. So,
Renee is not a
actually, no, they used mustard seed, and that color was discontinued a few years ago. So, marigold it is.
Renee is not a peach fan.
He likes peach. He's just not.
I like peaches.
Yeah,
I love fuzzy peaches,
yeah, the candy.
like the candy. But thanks to Afghanistan, no.
No, the reason is this: in some of the rations, they put this peach juice, and
Peach juice.
cling peaches done in syrup. They were horrid.
God.
My
You
husband
should not
said
be
the
able to
same thing.
push peaches through your teeth. Like it's Jello.
Yeah, so
No.
kind of turned both of them off of anything peach flavored for a very long time.
Ew.
And I can relate. I love fresh strawberries, garden fresh strawberries. I love anything with fresh fruit in it. I cannot stomach anything flavored strawberry. I don't even like strawberry ice cream
Jameson.
unless it's made with fresh strawberries.
See, I'd like that drink. Jameson and cranberry juice.
You can put almost anything in cranberry juice and it'll taste good. So, okay. So we're going to start shading these sunflowers, all these
would think
gorgeous
that-
petals.
I would think that deco art would keep you supplied with your favorite colors.
And generally they do. They're very good, but with the production schedule as it is right now, even those of us that work directly with deco art, we have to be selective about which products we ask them for because some are simply not available. So we have to learn to make do. Now, the pattern says to use burnt orange, and I'm not even sure I own burnt orange anymore, but we shall see.
Burnt
Oh,
orange?
I do have it.
You do?
I do.
Wow. The 2009 color is back to haunt you.
Oh, this is an old color. And I'll have to check the catalog because I'm not sure it's still in the lineup.
I do not like cherried anything, but I love fresh cherries. I am with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely detest like strawberry jello or anything like that. They're horrid.
Pureed figs, can't stand it. Fresh figs,
Why would anybody puree a fig?
because it's used in tons of Greek foods.
I suppose, but fresh figs are yummy.
Fresh figs are delicious. But pureed figs? Ugh. Or fig Newtons?
Oh, I like fig Newtons, but I can
I
only
can't
eat one
stand
or
that.
two because they make me nauseous.
I can't stand the... Yeah.
It's the seeds.
I hate banana, love banana bread. Yeah.
I like bananas, and I love banana bread, but I hate anything flavored banana.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that burnt orange to shade the base of these petals and to separate some of these petals. Now, neatness doesn't count for this. We're not looking for perfection. We just want a nice little shadow at the base of the petal. So don't worry if it's not utterly perfect. So I take it out, start my float at the edge of the petal. Like that. And then I bring it around until it meets the other edge of the petal.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say get better soon, Faye, because that sucks.
What's happened to Faye?
She has shingles.
Oh my God, I so sympathize. I had a small breakout of shingles this winter on my head. Ugh. And just a little patch, and it was, just towards the center of my skull and on just above my ear on one side, and it was so sore. Oh, I can totally commiserate. Nancy Maroney Richard had them too. She suffered the tortures of the darned.
So get better soon.
Yes, Faye. We can relate. Those are horrible. Hopefully you don't have too serious an outbreak, because those things can be misery.
Oh, there's one of the troublesome trio.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Deb.
Hi, Miss Deb.
Deb Antonick.
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, she's got her sale going on her website.
Yeah.
There's a nice little coupon code.
Yeah. She might give you the coupon code.
There is a coupon code.
Where is it? What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is.
Deb, what is it?
Come on, Deb, put it in the comments section. Tell us what your coupon code is so these guys can go shopping.
What is your system for finding your paint so quickly? Luck.
Mine? No, it's not luck. Oh my God, he's such an idiot. It is not luck. I have.
Half the time it is.
Well, for you it is. I know where everything is. I have
controlled chaos.
I have my paint cabinet organized according to the catalog. So my colors are organized according to hue. And it's the same with the spin rack behind me. I have all the colors organized according to hue. So how they're written out in the catalog is how they're organized in my cabinet. Sounds a little anal retentive, but otherwise I can't find anything.
It is Easter 21, all lowercase.
Easter 21, excellent. So she's got some great new stamps in too.
Go check out Painting with Deb. There's the website on the screen.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Use the promo code Easter 21.
See, yeah, she needs to, you guys, you got to shop on her site because she needs to get ready for our Hobby Lobby tour this year, because we are going come hell or high water.
Or hell or COVID.
Oh no, I'll be so vaccinated. This will be the, second or third in a row that we've missed.
Wine is not a vaccine.
Bite me. Who said that? You?
Yeah. Nobody said it in there. Wine is not a vaccine. Or it could be. Who knows? It might be.
Why not? We don't know.
You're not seeing the alcoholics dropping like flies. Might drink again.
So I've gone around each petal and I've put in a float of that burnt orange.
Deb's.
Oh no, what did Deb say?
She got a new car.
Yep.
With cup holders.
Yes. She's ready.
Yeah. Do you have Hobby Lobby? Where are you?
We don't have a Hobby Lobby. Deb and I usually make our annual road trip down the west coast of the U.S. We go down to, as far as Portland, Oregon from British Columbia, and we hit every Hobby Lobby along the way. So now that I've got that float of burnt orange onto my petals, I'm going to start shaping them. So I'm going to put a float down the center vein of my petals. Like so. I'm not worried about it being utterly perfect, believe me. I just want to get a little of that. Oops, I put that one on the wrong side.
We are supposed to be getting a Hobby Lobby next year. Hope, hope, hope.
I could not have one too close. I mean, I would be like in serious trouble.
Debt.
Well, maybe not debt, but definitely broke.
Do you have a new table or mat? Looks pretty.
We were talking about that earlier. No,
It's wallpaper.
Miss Deb turned me on to this great vinyl wallpaper. So she had redone the top of her painting table in her studio, and I just loved it. So I ordered myself a roll and I redid my desk, and it is like awesome. I love it. So now I have that float, that shadow down the center vein of each of my flowers, each of my petals, sorry. English is a second language today.
It's okay.
I love it. So now I'm going to, oh Lord, my almost empty bottle of Sunny Day. There's that number, DA325. This is a newer yellow. Came out a couple of years ago. But there's an echo in this bottle. There's how little is left in it. Ooh. Guess there was more in it than I thought.
It was hiding.
It's hiding. So, Sunny Day, I love this yellow. It's just so bright and pretty. So now I'm going to highlight these petals. Hi, Soot. The cat just used me for a launch board. Whoops.
Was she down here the whole time?
Yep.
Or did I leave the door open?
No, she's been down here.
Okay.
So I'm going to put just a little float of, oh my goodness. You think I could mess this up any further? Probably, if I tried hard. Okay, let's try this again. If I go with a smaller brush. You ever have one of those days you can't load a brush to save your soul? I'm having one of those today. Just too much paint. Too much paint. There we go.
Unfortunately, I have never been to a Hobby Lobby. Sacrilege.
I hear angels when we walk in.
That's the radio.
No, pretty sure it's angels. So I'm putting just a soft highlight on the opposite side of that shadow. Remember those shadows that we put down the center vein? I'm just putting a soft highlight there. And I'm going to do the same thing to the opposite side of the petal. Almost said leaf again.
Bunny leaves.
Bunny leaves.
What's going on Instagram?
Oops. What is with me today? I can't float. There we go.
I just uploaded a video
Yeah,
on Instagram with Dot with her new race car.
her new wheels.
New wheels.
There we go. Honestly.
Oh, wow, that really pops the camera.
If I get it right. That little highlight, all it does is define the shape of these petals. Because some of those shadows are going in different directions. So I'm going to, oh my gosh.
Did you put the wallpaper over the mat or just on the table?
The wallpaper I put right directly on my desktop.
Yeah.
And then I use the mat over top of it just to keep it clean, but
It's filthy. That's why it's not on the camera.
my my mat is just disgusting. It's covered in paint and needs a serious cleanup, so. So there is that little highlight of that Sunny Day, and I used just a small amount.
I have a Hobby Lobby 5 minutes down the road. I have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a good thing that I don't live too close to one, because I would come home with every piece of furniture that took my fancy. They always have some of the coolest furniture in there, and it's everything I can do not to ship a whole bunch home.
I have a panic attack when I go to Hobby Lobby. I can't see everything at once, and I'm afraid I miss something. It's very scary.
Yeah. It's such a great store. We have Omer de Serre here in Canada. If you're in a major center like Montreal or Edmonton or Toronto, they have Omer de Serre. And they're beautiful stores, but they're more fine art and art geared. So you can't even compare them to a Michael's, because it would be like comparing apples to oranges. But those are dangerous stores to go in. I really like going into de Serres because there's so much cool stuff. The other great store we have up here is bloody hell, now I can't think of it. My brain shut off. They're art and drafting supply here, and I just love ordering from them online. So I've just about got all my highlights in place. I'm not being too persnickety about it, because this is going to be a fairly rustic looking piece. I don't need them to be utterly perfect. I'm more interested in the color than I am in the...
Gotta check the battery on the camera. We still good. We still good.
So that little bit of a highlight is enough to separate those flowers nicely. And now I have to start really separating them well and defining them. And we're going to do that with a little bit of asphaltum. Who knew?
Please repeat the name of the store in Edmonton.
The store in Edmonton is de Serres.
De Serres.
Omer de Serres. They have tons. And they're reasonably priced. That's one of the nice things about it that I find, is that they are actually quite reasonably priced. They have enough of everything and in various price points that you can find what you're looking for.
Did you say bloody hell?
I did say bloody hell.
Hey, you missed it. I said an F-bomb a couple of weeks ago. Didn't even realize it.
So I'm using a little bit of that asphaltum, and it's a weak float right over that burnt orange, and it's going to start separating these petals.
Oh, they can't see him. There, he goes right there.
Does he?
Yeah.
Can't see him.
Yes, he can.
Where is he?
Give him a second. She's seeing the actual live stream.
You're such a goof.
Yeah. You got the zombie cookie. There
Zombie cookie. There he is. Zombie cookie.
He's watching you.
He is watching me. So this is where things start to clean up. You get sharper edges. And that the petals are a little more defined and separated.
They call him Gingy.
Gingy. Isn't that the name of the character in the... What is that movie? Shrek?
Gingy. I don't know.
I thought that was the name of the gingerbread in Shrek.
Oh no, the cookie's back. Oh, you just wait.
So this is where I like to make sure that those petals get that nice separation. So wherever those petals overlap, that's where I'm going to put a float of that asphaltum. And I want to keep it nice and tight so that you get great crisp edges and good definition. and because this actually seriously changes how this looks.
Okay. So, Murney928.
Marnie Mac.
Murney Mac. Tracy, when you use the Joe Sonia medium to float,
Yes.
do you blot first and then dip your paint?
I usually will blot the water out of my brush, and then I pick up the Joe Sonia. So I just touch the surface of the Joe Sonia just to get the brush wet, and then pick up my paint.
I thought you did. I heard it because I say it all the time.
Bloody hell, yeah.
It's very British.
It's also a Canadian thing. Bloody hell.
There's some other Canadianisms that I'd say, but
Yeah. Mixed company and all that.
mixed company and
We
monetization.
We want to keep yeah. We want to keep our PG rating.
PG rating.
So that little bit of asphaltum that you float in there is what separates and defines all of those petals.
We want to stay ad friendly.
That would be good.
This is my first time watching you live. Oh, my daughter sat on my leg and hyperextended my knee, so I'm not working today. Ow! I feel you for the knee thing.
Uh-huh.
Ouch.
So a couple of these petals have little flip overs on them. And so I'm going to float underneath where those flip overs will be. And I'm still doing that with the asphaltum.
Gingy, aka the Muffin Man from Shrek.
Yeah.
The Muffin Man! Love Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
Oh my god. I can't believe that got a show. I really can't. Started off as YouTube jokes and
Well,
and Letterkenny's actually a rip-off of PEI Encyclopedia, just to let you know. And if you want a good laugh and you want to see what it's like to live out on the East Coast,
yep, go watch that.
go watch PEI Encyclopedia, because it is hilarious. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's Islanders.
It's Islanders.
So now I have all of my my petals separated.
I was going to say leaves.
No, I stopped myself. I'm going to put a little shadow along here.
Late again. Arg.
Arg.
Ugh.
I'm going to grab a little bit of warm white. And I'm going to mix that with that sunny day. I want a nice light shade of yellow. Something brighter. And I'm going to put in a few of these little flip overs, and it's just a little stroke. You can do this with a liner brush or you can do it with a rigger. I'm doing it with a rigger, mainly because that's what I have handy. And I'm just putting in that little flip over in the petals.
And for those who don't know, the troublesome trio is Deb Antonick, Sandy McTeer, and my mom. That's what I mean by the troublesome trio.
We three friends.
We three friends, the troublesome trio.
WTF.
Is usually what I say.
It's great when you get to work with your best friends.
There you go. More like horns.
So I'm going to put a little highlight on this petal.
tried doing Donna Dewberry, and I totally suck at that. Your painting is much easier, thank you, because I almost gave up.
Well, I'm glad you didn't give up. You should never give up.
No.
Donna's is one of those techniques that requires a lot of practice. And it means daily practice because it's about brush control. I love this type of painting because it's a little bit more forgiving. So if you don't nail it the first time, at least you've already got an understanding of why you have to do things a certain way. So now I want to do the center of this piece.
Where is Sandy? That's a good question. Where is Sandy?
Sandy could be getting ready for her live tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe she's not doing a live tomorrow, but her painting group has been keeping her real busy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's Easter weekend. I mean, Miss Sandy may have taken. Oh, I know where Miss Sandy is. Miss Sandy went to visit her mom and dad for the Easter weekend.
Oh, okay.
I remembered.
Yeah, it is the Easter weekend.
So I'm just putting a little asphaltum in here. Like so. I like this brown. It's ideal for things like this.
They really like the gingerbread.
The zombie gingerbread cookie.
They really like it. They just look like tusks or horns. Or
It's
supposed to be
icing.
his hair.
It's icing.
It's supposed to be his icing toupee.
So
He's
I
got
just
the Trump throw over. Can't call it a comb over.
to throw over.
It's a throw over. Sandy will be going live on YouTube, I believe, next weekend. What? Awesome.
Okay, so I've got my center done. So now we're going to start working on some of these leaves. Now I've based them with antique green, and I think this is like my last bottle of antique green.
That didn't sound like depression at all.
Well, it's, I love antique green. It's my favorite. So I'm basing my leaves. I've got 2 coats on it already, but I just want to get a little more opacity on this bottom leaf. The other 2 I'm not too worried about because they're heavily shaded, whereas this one is.
I noticed Decor has asphaltum listed under grays.
Yeah, it's listed as a neutral. And it's a great color because it's actually got a fair amount of yellow in it. It's a good brown.
I got my rigger from the Brush Guys. Love it. And I also used your coupon code.
Good for you.
Right on.
Save a few pennies.
A penny or two.
Yeah.
Family's gone. Now I can watch you in peace.
I was on the Brush Guys website yesterday. I was just checking to see what they, what kind of inventory they had. They're really low on angles and riggers.
I suck at painting, but I keep going, and my family and friends keep lying to me about how nice my projects are. They're probably not lying to you. If they're lying to you, then
it's meant in kindness.
it's meant in
Kindness?
not in kindness,
Encouragement.
but encouragement. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Well, there's a saying that I talk about when it comes to things like that. When you start something that you've never done before, if you've only done it in a little bit, the man at the top of the mountain didn't fall there. He had to climb. So he had to get there under his own steam. So the thing you have to remember is not to beat yourself up over things that you don't do well because you haven't done them enough yet. Just because it's not perfect now doesn't mean it won't be in time. I look back at some of the stuff that I've painted and I go, oh my God.
It's like putting up your kid's painting on the fridge and
Yeah.
saying, yeah, it looks so pretty. And you're looking at it as like, I can't tell if it's a dog or a giraffe.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're trying to
Yeah.
encourage them to keep drawing and
And the only way
being
that
creative.
you improve is to continuously do things. And it isn't about the actual finished artwork for a very long time.
That reaction is priceless. I'm pinning that.
Oh no.
Oh my god, what is that? What did I miss? What the hell is that thing in the top right-hand corner of the screen?
I do hope you're talking about this. That is the zombie cookie.
That is the zombie gingy.
Oh my god.
I'm pinning that. That's getting pinned. What the hell did I miss?
Who is that?
That was Sherry and Fisher.
That's awesome. Oh my god. Okay, so I have my leaves now reasonably well base coated because they were horrid before. And there's a couple of different ways we can do this. I have over the years learned a few different ways for painting leaves. This is still one of my favorites, especially for something like this because they're so textured. You know, sunflower leaves are never, they're not smooth and shiny and pretty. They've got texture to them.
They hurt when you run through them.
They hurt when you run through them. They've got a serrated edge, much like rose petals do.
Same
Or
with the
rose
saltpeter
leaves.
that ends up in your tuchus. I mean, what?
So this is an old technique. I learned to do this years ago. When I was painting in oils, we used chisel blending an awful lot. So I'm loading my brush with antique green, and then I'm going to pick up a small amount of olive green on the toe of the brush, just on the point. And I'm going to blend these two colors together. And I'm going to stand the brush up on its chisel edge, like so, with the heel of the brush pointing back towards the center line of the flower. And I'm going to take some of the moisture out of the brush. And I'm going to tap and pull.
I told Renee to step away from the cookie, but he didn't listen. Nope.
Good luck with that.
It's a zombie cookie.
It's a zombie cookie.
It's awesome.
So I'm going to do the same thing on the edge, this side. So I'm doing it in little clusters of about 3 or 4. And then I leave a narrow space.
What size rigger is that?
Number 2.
There's a number 2. Number 2! Still can't find olive green. What do you use?
Margarita.
Margarita!
So these leaves are going to look a little sketchy for a bit.
Most of the time the zombie cookie appears when we have some kind of video problem. Yeah, no, we've been pretty lucky today.
We seem to be.
Crossing fingers.
I am tapping and pulling so that I get that mixture of color, that olive green and that antique green, and it pulls it back and it creates a little bit of texture on the leaves, like so. It is not going to be pretty. Just saying.
Tap, pull, tap, pull, tap, pull, tap, pull.
Yeah. So don't, frustrate yourself thinking it's got to be utterly perfect every single time you do this, because it's not going to be. But it does create a nice texture on the edges of those leaves. So now I'm going to dry this. So that's the key. Double load the brush, lighter value on the tip, the darker value on the heel. Stand the brush up on its chisel edge and tap and pull. And that will give you that quasi-serrated edge on your leaves. Doesn't look too bad. So now we have to add a shadow in there. Now you can use plantation pine. You can use black green. I have neither of those colors, so I'm going to I'm going to use a little bit of sap green.
You need plantation pine or this.
Yeah.
But I have neither, so I'm going to use this.
Yeah. So I'm just using a little bit of, this is sap green in the fluid acrylic. I am out of plantation pine, so I have to make do with what I have. And I don't have any black green left, so at this rate, I'm going to be painting in black and white pretty soon. So I'm just putting a little shadow on my leaves with that plantation pine. It's just a weak float. I'm not worried about getting it utterly perfect. So now I have to start shading my leaves. So I'm going to come down the center vein. Now this is a nice wide float coming down that center vein. Make sure that it overlaps that first set of green that we just did. I'm going to do the same thing underneath this flower. That shading is going to come right down and overlap and we're going to do the same thing on that center vein of this one. So that shadow, that little bit of sap green is going to overlap with that olive green on the edges. I'm going to dry that real quick and then I'll give it one more coat because I want that shading to be nice and deep. So I want a nice wide float. So I'm really blending my color out nicely. There's that shadow underneath. And I'm going to come right down that center vein, making sure that those colors overlap.
What I miss?
So every time you put a layer of that color on, that shadow gets a little bit deeper. I'm liking that. So I'm going to dry it, and then we're going to put a highlight on the opposite side of that leaf and those stems.
Oh my God, Tracy is out of paint. What are we going to do in a few weeks? I can definitely zoom in on the leaves. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's a good zoom in.
So I'm going to put a highlight. I'm going to use that olive green, but I'm using it just straight. And I'm blending it out really well.
Perfect.
Okay. And we're going to put a highlight of that opposite that shadow that we just put on the center vein. I'm just going to put a float along that line. I'm going to do the same on all of these leaves. opposite that first shadow. Now I'm going to take a little of that olive green and a touch of warm white just to make a slightly brighter value. And we're going to add a little highlight to the outer edge. And it's again that tap and pull.
Thanks for removing your mic before going to the little boy's room. How did they know? If you have a discontinued color, could you take it to Home Depot and have it color mixed?
Yes, actually just put 2 or 3 good coats onto a piece of cardstock or a piece of cardboard or what have you, and take it in, and they will be more than happy to scan that in and make you a sample pack for it. You can have it mixed. There's also, for discontinued colors, Deckwort also has like a brush mixing chart so that you are able to replicate them should you need them. But quite honestly, most of the time there is a color within the Deckwort lineup that will substitute very nicely. So I'm just popping a little extra highlight onto these leaves with that. It's a little olive green mixed with a tiny amount of warm white. I just want to put a little highlight in.
Sunflower leaves are razor sharp. Yes. Yes, they are. Don't ask me why I know this.
So you want that little bit of texture on them. So it's just that little tap and pull, that lighter value. It just gives them that sort of rougher looking edge. Like that. And then we have to do our highlight on the stem. I'm going to pull that. Now, when it comes to highlighting this stem, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for one thing. And I'm going to come in just a little bit from the edge of that stem. I want to leave a little of that darker green showing. And all that does is just imply that it's round, that it's a curved surface. So if you have that little bit of a space, it will help you create that curvature. Just by having that highlight come in just a little from the edge. So I don't rinse at my brush.
Depth and dimension.
Yep. Now, I like to go back in and deepen things with a little extra. It also softens and defines things a little bit better. I'm just not, it doesn't go everywhere. I'm just deepening a few little locations, usually the one that's going to be the darkest. So I like to tuck in a little extra shadow, a little extra depth. It just helps round things out nicer. And there we go.
The rigger she was using is a number 2 faux squirrel by Dynasty, yes.
Yep. This is it. The number 2. So we've got most of the detail done on our leaves and our stems and our flowers. So we still have that center to do. This part's really easy and a lot of fun because it's like, going back to kindergarten. So I have a little bit of lamp black. Now you can do this with a stylus, but I prefer to do it with the end of my brush. And we're going to put a series of dots, just dip dots, to fill in the center. And you need a fair amount of paint on it because we want the height all the way around.
You're looking at the ring on your finger.
Oh, my pretty.
My precious.
My husband and I had an anniversary just before Christmas in November, and this was his gift to me.
It's a Disney ring.
Yeah, it's a Disney princess ring, believe it or not. It is a aquamarine surrounded by diamonds and set in white gold. I love it. And if you're looking for the name of it, it's Elsa. Believe it or not, it came from the movie Frozen.
Colors totally unrelated to one another. Like blue sunflowers and margarita bluebirds. Whatever we have. Yeah, we're going to end up painting some weird colored things, yeah. Or you could just paint unicorns, because you can make those any color you want.
Well, happily, I was at Michael's earlier in the week, and they had lots of paint in. The Americana rack was pretty full, which was good to see. Paint is shipping. It's just taking, to get through the distribution lineup, basically. It's just taking some time.
Oh.
That's all.
Sue can't wear jewelry anymore. She has severe metal allergies.
My mother did too. She couldn't wear anything.
I can't wear anything cheap.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't wear anything with nickel in it.
It's kind of the reason why I took actually the military made me take the earring out. But it was the main reason why I don't wear an earring anymore. It's 'cause all the main jewelry out there has got a lot of nickel plating on it.
None of my jewelry does.
So I either actually have to go with 100% silver,
Or gold.
stainless steel, which is also really expensive for jewelry, or gold.
Yep. So I'm just filling in this center with dip dots. And I like using the brush end because the dots have some elevation and so they have texture. And I like the bigger dots.
What branch of the military? I was Army.
He was Army, combat arms.
I was Army. I drove jeeps and armored vehicles. And then I crew commanded them, and then I taught.
So I like that texture. I don't use a brown because I want this black to stand out a little bit. So that's why I put the asphaltum as the base, because I wanted the black to show up. Ta-da!
I became allergic to nickel-plated jewelry after having my kid. Or maybe it's just a sign of getting old.
No, my mother developed an allergy to metals after she had her first surgery when she had her hysterectomy done. That's how they found out she was allergic to metal, because they had stapled her. So I'm going to dry these. I like the dip dots. The dip dots work for me. Oh, can you hand me one of those bumblebee stamps?
Bumblebee stamps?
Yeah.
Don't you have one started?
I probably, but I just need the package.
You just need the package.
Package.
There you go.
So I was sitting here the other night and I was thinking to myself, I was going to paint these bumblebees on here. But the one thing that was missing from the background was sort of like a honeycomb pattern. You could, stencil a little of that in. And then I got thinking, wouldn't this be fun to use this stamp? 19.
I know. Packaged enough of them.
So you could tuck a little bit of this back there too. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
You know, maybe use a darker value of the orange or the yellow in there. It would be really pretty. The other thing I thought would be fun was this one comes with this cute little stamp of a bumblebee in it.
Stamped a bumblebee in there.
Stamp the bumblebee. And you could use that stamp in a few places in the background. You know, there's all kinds of fun things you could do. And there's some great little quotes on this one. I love this stamp. This is just too freaking cute. But yeah, you could put a little honeycomb in the background. That would be great. So there I have my center part done. So now we have to highlight this a little bit. You need to make this center stand out just a scooch. And I'm going to do that with some yellow. And I'm going back into my marigold color. And I'm going to add dip dots again, but I don't want them so I'm just going to do like a quarter moon type pattern.
Now, you were raised around the army or military.
I was born and raised military.
Yeah.
I grew up at the end of a runway.
She was a base brat.
I grew up at the end of a runway.
And then married an army guy.
I did.
And you were an army wife for 30 years?
I am still an army wife. You can take the man out of the military, but you cannot take the military out of the man. So I got sort of a quarter moon type design going on in the center there. And I'm going to dry that, and then we're going to highlight it by using just some fun little white dip dots.
Bee, not murder hornet.
Yep, no murder hornets, just bees. Cute little bumblebee bees. So now I'm going to use a little bit of warm white, and I'm going to do this again, but I want to keep the dots a little bit smaller.
I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm getting a little crowded.
So I'm keeping my dots just a little bit smaller in there. I just want to highlight this a little bit. So I'm following that same shape. Just like so. And there is the center of my sunflower. Whee!
What's next?
Next we're going to do bumblebees.
Fuzzy butts.
Fuzzy butt bumblebees. I do like my fuzzy butt bumblebees. These bees are actually really easy to paint. So we're going to start with this little fat fella down here.
Can you make sure he's centered so I can zoom in? Because that's a lot of detail.
There we go.
There we go. I'm going to zoom
Gotta
in.
find me- Nope. I was looking for a small filbert.
Ooh, man. Don't move him too much.
No. Hopefully not at all. So I'm going to base coat his wings with warm white. I love bumblebees.
Go back a few years here. December 2018. Oh, that's an ugly picture of Sean.
So a little warm white for these wings. I don't know why I didn't base coat these beforehand. Obviously not firing on all cylinders this week. You can tell that spring is here. The snow is just about gone. I think there's just little bits here and there. But we had some heavy rain over the weekend, and now the molds from all of the dead leaves and whatnot have kicked into high gear, and I am constantly stuffy. So this little guy gets painted. There's a lot of black in here. So I'm just using my rigger to base coat this little bee in. Now he has a lot of different segments. So when I'm base coating this, I always leave a little gap so that you can see where each segment is. I like that little space. And it's just a narrow space. It's all going to disappear when you do your shading anyhow, so I don't really worry too much about it. And this little guy has got feet. That little space will save you a lot of time, going back and trying to find things and tracing line drawings back on. I really detest doing that, so I don't.
Just waiting for phone to connect.
And so we have this little bit under here where he's fuzzy, so it goes on in little strokes. And again, I leave that little narrow space. And then there's this part here, that fuzzy butt part. And again, I put that on in little strokes so that it has an irregular, serrated looking edge. And he's got legs.
What did I miss? Such a sunny sunflower. So pretty. Did you use gray or black to transfer paper to do the pattern?
I usually, depending on the surface, this one is actually gray. I use gray graphite for mine. So now I have to take that same yellow that we used for the sunflower. We're going to pull that into the body of our bumblebee. And again, I stroke it on the same way I did the other so that you get that serrated edge. I'm not looking for a perfect band. And I'm going to do the same thing to his bottom. His butt. Fuzzy butt bumblebees. So I'm going to turn him around while he's drawing. I'm going to quickly base coat this other fella. Is that one still in the shot? Probably not.
Very bottom of the shot.
How's that?
It's dead center.
Okay.
I'm going to set up the palette camera now. There you go.
So again, I'm just throwing a little bit of warm white onto these wings. I got way too much paint in my brush. And I'm taking my paint out so that it covers up those graphite lines a little bit. Because
Yeah. That picture. I should put that on Instagram. I titled it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's called One of Us Farted.
Okay.
It's a picture of me and Dot facing each other, and
Oh,
we're both
okay.
acting surprised. One of us farted.
Okay.
We don't know who.
Wait for the fallout. That'll tell you everything you need to know. I love my bumblebees. I love painting bumblebees. They're just
So
cute.
You have an edge around your piece. Sometimes I shade the corners to make it look like a wooden frame.
Yep.
Nice. You need to remind everyone that you're going to be on Creative Innovations.
I am, yes. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
April 15th, I'm on the Creative Innovations Facebook group. And we're doing a live class. And the class is free. You can just, as long as you're a member of Creative Innovations. And if you're not a member now, by all means, go join. They have a ton of great free classes going on through the month of April. Mine is just one of them. There's tons of others. And if you'd like to paint along, you can find the pattern on my website. It's called Spring Welcome. And it's a cluster of lilacs, daisies, on a barn board sign. It's I think it's a pretty piece. I kind of like it.
At Christmas time, you had a show on little items great for rack.
Yeah.
I would love to see another one for seasonal items.
Oh, there's so much fun. There's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
We can certainly do that.
Definitely put something together.
I am always open to ideas. If you guys have got ideas about what you'd like to see,
fire away.
Fire away.
Yeah, that's not Dot. It's a picture of a Dutch shepherd jumping into the lake.
Yeah, that is definitely not Dot.
Dot does not do water.
She doesn't even like having a bath.
Yeah. That's a struggle in itself.
Especially now.
Good old Dutch shepherds.
Miss Dot is,
Love Dutchies.
she's a sweetheart.
Deb Antony, I want a skull.
She wants a skull.
You're getting Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog's skull.
Oh.
Oh, maybe no. That one.
That would be kind of messing with an institution, don't you think?
I think I just came up with a tattoo idea. I think they'll be. I gotta do that. I think that'd be genius. Kermit the Frog's skull.
Does Kermit have bones?
He's a Muppet.
So the answer is no.
No.
So again, with that mustard seed in there, we're just about done base coating this little fuzzy butt bumblebee here. We'll be able to start painting them.
A skull ginger? A ginger skull?
Oh yeah, somebody did those at Christmas time, like actual cookies that looked like
Skeletons?
They were awesome.
How about tree frogs?
Oh, tree frogs, they're so stinking cute.
We had a dog that was so afraid of water that it would sneak up on its water bowl. Oh. Sneak up on it. Oh, I feel sorry for that dog. I just watched Dot's Wheels video. You just remind me of watching my husband suffer from spinal
Stenosis.
Ouch. But she likes her wheels.
Yeah, she took to them pretty quickly.
Yeah. But right now it's just a matter of keeping her walks short and her time in the cart short because she has to develop the muscles she normally would use for her back legs.
Yeah.
But for her front legs.
Yep.
So we gotta get the forearms developed. Yeah. But she knows what the cart means now. It means she gets to go outside and be a little bit free.
Yeah, because she hasn't been able to do anything, so.
Yeah.
Poor
Last couple
puppers.
weeks have been pretty rough on her.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, right.
Yay! It's time to paint bees.
What did you paint it to be?
Oh, I base coated a bee. Now we get to play. So I got my favorite Americana color. Woohoo! Bahama blue.
Of course.
DA 255.
Bahama blue.
So we're going to start with the main body of the bee, which is all of this black. We're going to add highlights to this to shape this bee. So I'm using a little bit of thinned warm white, and I'm going to come right up to the edge and put that highlight in. And we're going to do that on all of these pieces of the bee.
Would like to see daisies and bumblebees for a spring rack.
Ooh, that would be pretty.
Well, she's already getting ideas.
I just got a bunch of nifty little wood pieces in. Because, you know, now I got to do a zombie
Cookie.
cookie.
Actual zombie cookie. Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
So we need to paint.
Who sent you those?
I got them from Stockade. So we got those, and I do have bunnies.
What?
I got bunnies, but
Zombie bunnies?
I'm in love with this one,
Zombie sheep.
a jeep. I think it's really cute.
Zombie sheep.
So wouldn't that be cute with a daisy on it and a little bumblebee? I think it'd be very cute. So we have oodles of stuff to do. Really fun little bits and bobs.
This is amazing watching for the first time. Well, welcome.
Welcome. So I'm just
Enjoy.
putting on that little highlight on all of those, let's call them the hard bits.
The
So
hard
the hard bits, you know, the stuff with the shell on it.
Oh,
so,
the crunchy bit.
The crunchy bits. So, crunchy bits.
I love mason bees. What are mason bees?
It's probably, oh, what do they call them here?
They have no stinger and they crawl on your finger and try to act so frightening. I just laugh at them.
Yeah. They
Mason
look like a
bees.
bee, but they've got a harder shell. And they're quite large, but they don't have a stinger, and they're non-aggressive. They will fly right at you, but they're not. And you can actually pet them.
Really?
Yeah.
Mason bees? I've never heard of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have what they call Dupre bees here, or clay bees is another name for them. And they make their home under the ground. They will sting, but for the most part, they eat spiders.
Oh, that's why you like them.
That's why I like them.
Oh yeah, mason bees. They're a bee.
Yeah.
But Saul's pointy bit.
Yep, they don't have the stinger bit. So
They're part of the ant family.
that little highlight doesn't take away from the black of the bee, but it does help shape it so that we get that nice round, that curvature. And it also rounds out these great little feet and legs. Am I still centered? Do I go all wonky?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So I've got that highlight in. Now, this is the fun part because I can take a little bit of that lamp black. Remember I talked about because I've got that space in there, I was going to make it go away. And we're going to do just that. And I'm going to do it with a little float of lamp black. And it's on the back side of that. So that area where I highlighted, you're going to go opposite and put a float of the lamp black in. And it will make that line go away.
You want to see something scary? Go to Afghanistan and ask for a bee. It's about the size of a hummingbird, and sounds like when it flies by. They have a tendency to eat small lizards.
Again, you've got spiders that will jump up and attach themselves to the underside of a camel.
It's not really a spider. It's an ant.
Yeah, whatever.
They call them camel spiders because, well,
It looks like a spider.
it looks like a spider. I see one deflate a football. Evil things.
So all of this yellow that we have there on the belly of our bee needs to be shaded, and we're going to use that same color that we used for the sunflower.
Carpenter bees.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to put a shade down one side with that burnt orange. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one as well. Now I've gotten it over the black, but that's okay because we're going to make all of that go away.
I need help with dandelions.
Getting rid of them or painting them?
Painting them, we can help you with. Getting rid of them,
Not so much.
Not so much.
So I'm switching over to a 1/4 inch angled shader. I'm going to use a little tiny one for this.
I swear you did something with hummingbirds at one point.
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to see if it's around.
No,
No?
don't think so.
No.
So I've loaded my brush up with a little bit of titanium white, or sorry, warm white. And on the highlight side, which is the lighter side of this bumblebee, I'm going to do that tap and pull thing that we did on the leaves, but I'm going to do it on the bumblebee.
Ta-da.
And we're going to do it on that black too. Now it's just a little tap so it creates some texture.
Painting them. Painting dandelions.
Okay, I've never painted a dandelion. Don't think.
Because they're a bane.
Well, it's too soon to be killing them because the bees need them right now.
Yeah.
This early in the spring, that first, first crop of dandelions that comes up, that's feeding the bees until the rest of the flowers come along. So I'm going to do the same thing to this the bee.
Not in the shot. Okay, bring it down. There you go.
So it's just a chop, tap, tap, tap. And I'm doing the same thing over the black. Keeping the brightest value towards the bottom and then gradually letting it run out. And this helps make a fuzzy butt bumblebee. Ta-da! Fuzzy butt bees. Now I'm going to start doing the wings of our bee, and I'm thinning out a little bit of Bahama blue for that. And I'm going to start at the closest to the body and just put a float right on the wing, closest to the body. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And there's two wings, a wing and a winglet.
Sorry, Holly. We don't have any tips for painting dandelions.
Not at the moment. I might think of something. Might take it as a challenge. So I put a little float of that same Bahama blue at the tips of the wings as well, so that we have a bright white spot through the center. I'm going to do this, the bee.
That's good.
I love Bahama blue for this kind of thing.
Yay! Gotta do something with hummingbirds.
That's something I don't do often, but yeah, I should. And I'm going to do the same thing at the tip of the wings as well. That little float of Bahama blue.
Chickadees, sparrows.
I don't often do birds, period, so.
Well, you got a crane there.
Oh.
That's a silhouette.
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
The robins, the ones that are upstairs.
Oh, yeah, the robins. No, you did a cardinal.
Yeah, quite a while
A
ago.
long time ago, though.
Yeah.
Good cardinals.
So now these little bees have to get a little depth added. So I'm going to take a little asphaltum and I'm going to blend that out. And I want to deepen that shadow on that orange, just to give him a little more shape. And that same asphaltum I'm going to use to start dividing these wings.
When you thin out the blue, are you using water?
Yes, or Joe Sonia's, either or.
Or both?
Or both. Yeah. So that little bit of asphaltum close to the body, and then take it along the edge of that lower wing like so.
How about sweet peas?
Sweet peas. I have a piece started with sweet peas on it.
What?
Yeah, I have a teacup full of sweet peas somewhere.
What? 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 Is that a flower?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking sweet peas, like, you know, little butter with my meat and my taters and.
No. No, you would be wrong.
Yeah. Like, who's painting food? Oh, that looks delicious. Too bad I can't eat it.
So I'm going to break out my liner, if I can find one.
I don't know what you're.
Here we go.
What are we looking at here?
And I'm going to take a little of that warm white
There we are.
on here. And I need to add some highlights.
Okay, now I gotta zoom in again, but you're
No, it's okay.
zooming in. Whoa! Okay, camera, calm down. There we go.
I'm just stroking in a few little highlights here and there to make that bee pop a little bit.
Are you coming to New England traditions this year?
I'm not sure. It all depends.
Typical man, I think it's his belly. I like food. I've always liked food. Leave me alone.
So I'm going to take a little bit of that thinned warm white. I'm going to add just a little bit of some fine lines to my fuzzy butt bees, just to make them a little fluffier. And it's very light strokes. I'm just using a little bit of thinned warm white for that. I'm going to do the same thing to this little guy.
Renee must be hungry.
He is always hungry.
Yeah.
So now that we've got that done, we've got a couple of things we have to do to the background for this, and that is to start lifting all of this off of that background. And I do that with a float of asphaltum.
Who knew?
And I got way too much in my brush.
Who knew it would be asphaltum?
And I'm going to do the same thing around this bee. I know.
You barely see that shadow there.
It is intended to be very light.
They can tell it's wet.
Yeah, you can tell it's wet, but it is not a not a dark shadow.
Oh, I love sweet peas. Can't wait to see those. Sweet peas in a teacup would be so pretty.
I am obsessed with teacups.
Sweet peas with your chicken wire stencil would be awesome.
It is very much like a vintage flower. It's not something that you see much in this day and age. My grandmother had them growing in profusion around the farm. But she had all kinds of flowers growing around the farm, not just sweet peas.
He's a growing young man. Of course. Yes, always growing. Need food. She's just shaking her head like, oh my god.
So I've just putting a float and a light wash of asphaltum in here to separate this guy. I don't want it to be too harsh or too heavily defined. It's just to sort of keep them grounded to this surface.
I just noticed something.
What did you just notice?
There's no lettering.
Not yet.
Oh.
We're going to have a discussion about our lettering.
Whoa. Foxgloves?
Foxglove digitalis. I have some growing in my garden, the front flower beds. Foxglove is beautiful. Hollyhocks is another one. That's very much a vintage flower. We had tons of those growing around the farm too.
How about birdhouses with flowers and a chickadee?
Ooh, birdhouse would be pretty. That's something I've never done or haven't done much of.
Chickadees.
So I'm just taking a liner brush and I'm adding and brightening up a few of these little flip overs with a little bit of warm white.
What is it doing? Stop that. Thank you.
Just to brighten this flower a little. Found the yellow wasn't quite enough against that light buttermilk background, so we're going to go with a little bit of warm white instead. That works. Did we drop something, dearest?
Mallow? Mellow?
Mallow.
Mallow?
I know there's something just really comforting about vintage type flowers. So there we go. Now I have kind of an obsession
Uh-oh.
with my pen,
Ah, yes, the scribble pen.
my scribble pen. I'm going to dry this real quick.
Too much coffee in a short period of time.
So one of the things that I like to do is I take my gel pen. I like to put like a sketchy outline around my wings. Like so. Neatness doesn't really count. I'm not looking for perfection or what have you. It's just to add a little interest to the outside, and it defines these bees really nicely. And you can make it as perfect as you want or sketchy as you want. You could even do it as stitches if you wanted to. And I would do the same thing around some of the details of the flower if you wanted. And I do the same thing to the body of the bee. Take that pencil down onto the body of the bee, or the pen, I should say, and add a little sketchiness to it. It's just makes them more interesting and more fun. Before I varnish anything that I've used with, where I've used this gel pen, I usually take it out in the garage and give it a spray with the Dynasty or Decort matte spray. And you can outline all of these petals if you want to. Give them a little more definition if that's what you like. If not, they don't have to be done this way. I just happen to like it. I like that sketchy detailing. I just like how it looks when it's finished. I've never been one for hard-edged finishes, but I do like and it's sort of that hand-drawn look quite a bit. So, and I find that with this gel pen, it kind of translates quite nicely to that. And you can get these gel pens in white too, although I haven't found them with this ultrafine point. I can only find the black in the ultrafine. So I don't use the white one very often, but I do use this black one all the time. There's so many different ways that you can embellish your painted pieces. I really love the gel pen simply because you can personalize things more with it. It doesn't come off as being hard-edged. It doesn't come off as being, it doesn't look so heavily defined. And I'm much more partial to this sort of light, sketchy look than a hard outline. And it works up really quick. I find that this particular pen works very well, particularly over acrylic paint. I don't have issues with it stopping and starting, and it's user-friendly and they're easy to work with. There we go. A few little sketch lines here and there. I kind of like that. You know, those soft lines pull out from the center. Pretty, pretty. You could do the same thing to the outer edges of the leaves. Just put a sketchy line like so. Just enhances that sort of rough edge look. I like it. And we're just about there. So the next thing that we're going to tackle on this is that lettering, and then I'll show you how you can add a few little embellishments around the outside edge of this, as far as, you know, in doing more of the shading, or you can add gold leaf, or you could add, there's all kinds of things you can do to this to embellish it even further. I'm just very partial to using this pen for a lot of this.
Oh, bleeding hearts.
Ooh, that would be a pretty one, wouldn't it?
That would be a good one.
Bleeding hearts would be pretty. So there, I have all my sketchy stuff done. I'm going to quickly dry that ink so I don't smear it. And then we're going to talk about tracing on and transferring your lettering. I sound like a broken record sometimes talking about this, but I just think that there's a lot of things we tend to forget when it comes to doing lettering. So I have my lettering already printed out. I'm going to grab my big ruler. I have a big 18-inch ruler somewhere.
Talk about running late. Yeah, a little bit.
Are we running a little over?
What's that?
I said, are we running late?
No, we ran a little late too. We were late getting started as well, so.
Yeah.
We were going on 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Well, we're down to the last little bit.
Yeah. Now we're doing lettering.
So here's what I do. I take my lettering and I take a steel edge ruler and I draw a line underneath my lettering so that everything is level. And then you have to decide where your lettering is going to be placed on your piece. In this case, this lettering is 3 1/8 of an inch in. So I'm going to make it an even 3 inches on mine. I'm going to make a little mark here and 3 inches here, little mark. And I'm going to place my ruler so that I can see both of those little marks. And I'm going to use my chalk pencil. I'm going to draw a white line across at that 3/8 mark right there.
I can barely see that.
So it's right here. And then I'm going to position my line drawing of the lettering so that the line that underscores the lettering lines up with the line that I just drew on the surface. And then I'm going to tape this in place. And this ensures that your lettering is going to be straight and level. So I need my graphite paper. Oh, never mind.
You got some there?
Of course it's here, you know. So I've got gray graphite. I'm going to slip that.
I can't let her. You're about to learn how.
So I'm going to slip that underneath. And I'm going to grab my 6-inch ruler.
What does that mean?
Tourn Esol. Literal translation means towards the sun. It is the French word for sunflower. And I've misplaced my 6-inch ruler. I'm telling you, I'm batting 1,000 today. I can't find my ruler.
Another e-packet I want. Love sunflowers.
I love sunflowers too. I paint them quite a bit. So I have a 6-inch ruler, and I use the 6-inch for a reason, and I use a steel one for a reason. The reason is plastic rulers over time get chipped, and then you can never get a crisp straight line out of them. They do become beat up after time, whereas the stainless steel rulers are less likely to do that. So when you're tracing your lettering, you're going to use that straight edge ruler to trace all of your vertical lines and your horizontal lines. And you'll notice that I shoot past like so. I'm not too worried about the curves. I'm not too worried about having graphite on my background either. I don't care. That will come off. So all of those straight vertical lines.
There's the battery on that camera up there.
So you're going to have them like that.
Dying is the answer.
And all of those horizontal lines as well. Make sure you get those.
Dun, 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 dun. Maybe I can save the stream if I do this quick.
So it's going to give you a fairly strange looking tracing on your surface, but then all of those curved lines can be done freehand.
There we go.
The curves don't show flaws as easily as the horizontal lines and the vertical lines do. So you can freehand all of those curved areas quite easily.
Lilies of the Valley?
Oh, that would be a pretty one too. Lily of the Valley.
You know who I didn't see in here?
Who?
Miss Karen Jones. Is she
Easter weekend.
Easter weekend? With grandbaby.
Yep.
Grandbaby and
And
family.
So all of those vertical and horizontal lines must be straight, crisp, and clean. Curved lines don't show the flaws as much as those vertical lines do, because we are conditioned since day one. So you can quite easily freehand those long curvatures.
An iris?
Oh, I did an iris a couple of years ago.
Like the flower?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's in the bathroom,
Oh, that's right too.
the main floor bath. So there is that lettering. So let's do the last three.
What the hell happened there? Can you show that again? Okay, you can't barely see it anyway.
Yeah.
But
I just realized I forgot to do the horizontal lines at the bottom of the letter.
That top camera froze up a bit.
Getting too low on juice.
Well, no, it's plugged in now, so doesn't mean it's charging faster than it's using energy, but.
Now, the other thing that I do when I'm transferring lettering is I use that gel pen. And for another reason. That gel pen has a stainless steel ball, and it's a very fine point. So I get nice fine lines instead of heavy, thick ones. I don't like heavy, thick lines.
My lettering has been a huge success using this technique. I love the small ruler.
It makes a big difference. So I have my lettering traced on, except I missed a portion of the S. There we go. So there, I have my lettering on.
And now the fun part.
And now the fun part. So I'm going to get a clean palette before I do this.
I'm going to set up the palette camera. After I zoom in a bit on the lettering so we can... You're starting with the T?
Yep.
There you go.
So I'm using a number 2 rigger for this. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. For those of you that already know this, it won't hurt to refresh it. And for those of you that don't, this is as far as I'm concerned, is probably the best brush for this type of thing. A number 2 rigger. It looks like a liner brush. The difference is that the hair of this brush forms a chisel edge like a flat. It doesn't come to a point like a liner brush does.
Thank you so much for these lettering tips. My letters are going to look so much better from now on.
So I'm using a little bit of Jo Sonja's Fast Drying Glaze, and I'm using Lamp Black for this. And you want your paint a little thicker than ink. It should come off the brush fairly easily. Now you can tap the brush. If you look at the screen with the palette in it, I'm going to tip the palette up a bit. You can tap the brush. See how it opens up to a square chiseled edge? And this is what we need to do this lettering. So I'm going to start here at the top of this letter, and I'm going to use the chisel edge, and I'm going to press down till the brush opens up and then come back up onto that chisel edge. Now I missed a little spot here, but that's okay. I can take that brush and work into that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, working on that chisel edge. Now that's narrow curve at the top of that T, chisel edge, press down. Whoops, brush doesn't want to work to me. There it goes. Press down till it opens up and fills the space, and then come back up onto the chisel edge. Brush is not cooperating with me today.
I'm basically using that chisel edge as a fine liner, basically.
I'm using the chisel edge like you would a calligraphy tip. So I start at the top of the O, press down till the brush opens, come back up onto the chisel edge. And that just means that I'm releasing the pressure on the brush.
Jo Sonja Fast Drying Glaze or just glaze?
Fast Drying Glaze.
Fast Drying Glaze. Can't see the bottom. Well, no, they can't. There you go. Oh, a little bit more. There you go. Yay.
So top of the letter, press down, release the pressure on the brush, and come up on that chisel edge. is Soot. Hello, Soot.
The devil's messenger.
We have a little black kitty named Soot.
You must not drink coffee. You have a very steady hand. She does drink coffee.
I do, but I drink decaf.
But she's been doing this so long. It's easy for her.
Oh, some days I can mess up the Lord's Prayer.
That's pretty easy to do. I don't know the Lord's Prayer, so. I'm the one that didn't renounce Satan during my sister's baptism.
That is bar none one of the funniest stories our family tells at every get together. We had like a mass of people at the Catholic Church. And the priest was going through the benediction, and then he comes to asking the godparents and the parents to renounce Satan. He said, "And do you renounce Satan and all his evils?" And of course we say, "I do." And this little voice pipes up, "I don't." Yeah.
And I've stood by those words today.
You know, things you don't want to hear your child say at a Catholic church in the middle of Mass.
It's hilarious.
It is now.
It was hilarious then, too.
Yes, it was. It was very funny. Even the priest laughed.
The priest laughed. Pepper laughed.
Are you kidding? Bear thought that was the best part of the whole thing.
Can't see the letter, I think. I got a rigger, so maybe it will help my lettering. It will. Just got my rigger last week. I use it on the gardenia pattern. I absolutely love it.
It's surprising when you find the right brush for the right job, just how much of a difference it'll make.
Scripting dagger makes a world of difference, too. But a lot of people don't like the fact that it's got such a tiny little handle on it.
Yeah.
And you can't hold it like a paintbrush.
No. So chisel edge, open it up till the brush fills the space, and then come back on the chisel edge.
I'm going to have to move it so we can see the... There we go. You're on the ball. Look at you.
I got this long L here. I'm going to do it in 2 strokes because I can't see it from this distance. There we go. Sometimes keeping it in the shot means that I've got to reach for it.
Is he saying he was a little devil?
Not was.
Still am. What make is your brush? That is a Dynasty.
It is a Dynasty faux squirrel. It's a synthetic. So now you can go along, and any little areas that you feel, need to be cleaned up, touched up, what have you, you can do that.
They can't see that.
So I have a couple of spaces here.
Anyway. We're done with the major part.
I am.
And zoom out. Boom! Look at that. So pretty.
So now we've got that nice big lettering in there. I'm going to dry it real fast. And then I've got a couple little spots that I want to clean up, because I just realized I missed a spot. 2 spots.
Hi, just got here. Had to go get my second shot.
Woohoo!
Yeah!
We're still waiting for our first. So I got a spot here that I need to clean up because it's driving me crazy. Right there. And I forgot.
I'm sure if Renee was not Renee, the world would be boring.
Oh, I can promise you there's never a dull moment.
Never. I can make the most Worst situations, awkward or funny.
Usually awkward.
Awkward. And I do it on purpose.
Yes. So I'm going to quickly dry this, and then I'm going to grab my Factus black eraser, and we're going to get rid of that graphite so that you can see how that system works.
Some say I have an innate ability to completely flip a situation.
So-
Or what's the other one? What is it? Somebody-
Require bond, bail.
Bail. No, there's another one, people.
He manages to de-stress situations quite easily because of his personality. Or inflame them.
My conflict resolution is pretty good. I can de-escalate situations very well. Or
The total opposite,
I can have the total
depending on
opposite,
his mood.
depending on my mood.
So I've got the lettering done. One of the things I like to do to lift lettering off the surface is to add a shadow.
Yay, shadows.
And I'm going to do that with a little bit of
Whoa.
asphaltum.
No.
And this is the fun part. Now there's two ways you can do this. We could come in just a little, leave a little room on either side. And you'll notice that this shadow is not touching the surface, and nor is it floated out, meaning that it's a little more solid. And I'm coming away from the edge of the letter just a tiny bit. And essentially this just creates sort of a cast shadow around the lettering.
Direct translation means turn to the sun.
Turn to the sun, yep.
But it's also French for sunflower.
Yep. Tourn Esol. So there is our little shadow on this. I think I've got just about everywhere I needed to be. There we go. Now, to finish this piece, a couple of things that you could do. You could add a small highlight to each letter on the opposite side. I personally would leave it because of that cast shadow. It doesn't really need it. But one of the things I will do is I'm going to spatter this a little bit. I know you're very surprised by that. I'm not going to use black because I find black is a little too harsh. So I'm going to thin out a little asphaltum, and I'm going to spatter this piece with my fugly brush. And then I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to use a little bit of thinned warm white because I happen to like the thinned warm white look. So a little bit of warm white. I'm not using a ton. And I'm only using this sparingly. I don't want a ton of it on there. But I think that that little extra spatter with the warm white just keeps this from getting too dark and too heavy looking. It lightens things a little bit and softens things at the same time. So I'm going to grab my stamp pad because I want to show you a fun way to finish off an edge. So I'm going to dry this too while I'm at it.
I'm always sad when these classes come to an end. I enjoy these classes and Renee so much. Oh, well, thank you.
So I'm going to take that eraser and just clear away that white graphite pencil line that I had in there. So that's all cleaned up.
Do you ever use glitter on your project?
From time to time I do. As long as he's not around because I don't like glitter.
I don't like glitter. It gets on everything.
So I'm using a stamp pad. I'm going to rub the corners and edges of my piece, but if you lay it over onto the surface a bit further, you'll get a nice rough look out of it.
Here it comes, Fugly brush.
So I'm just rubbing the edge with my stamp pad, like so. And if you lay it down, you'll get an even darker spot. So the more of it you put on the surface, you'll get, the less of it, you'll get a narrow finish. And I kind of like the wider bits on it.
Looks like it's burnt.
Yeah, it takes on like a really heavily distressed look. I like it. I like stamp pads. They're fun to do things with. So that is that. I'm going to dry this real quick. This is a really juicy stamp pad. Oof.
I need Becca Buckner.
Becca Buckner.
Say hi.
Say hi, Becca. Where are you?
I need you to say hi.
Is Becca our winner?
Emma.
So Becca Buckner is the winner of a set of those.
These.
Yeah. So Becca, you've won a set of those Dynasty Blue Ice brushes, the round and that flat wave. So make sure you go to the website, click on the little message bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and send us a message with your shipping information, and we will be happy to get those out to you first thing on Tuesday after the long weekend. And I think we have one more. We have two more, actually. We've got another set of brushes and a set of stencils.
Oh, do we? I
Yep.
gotta pick another name?
Yep.
And, Robin, I know you're on there.
Robin Miles?
Robin Storm.
Robert Storm.
Robin. You get a set of brushes, too.
And Robin Storm is a winner. So there is our Tourn Esol piece. Finish.
And first name I land on is F. Straight line. No, she can't win again. Fine. If you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Linda Safranco.
Hey, Linda Safranco won another one. Awesome. Well, that's what happens when you're here every Saturday. So there we go, guys. That is my Tourn Esol all finished. Lots of fun. You could add more stenciling to this. I think if I know what I want to do. Hello.
She gets the postal and
Oh, she gets the set from today?
yeah,
Cool.
postal,
The honeybee.
honeycomb.
Soot.
Oh
What's the
no,
matter?
honeybee.
Listen to her.
Oh my god. And what's the other stencil?
The Harlequin.
Harlequin.
Yep. So I have a little obsession with this Harlequin stencil, so I'm going to use a little asphalt. My goodness, Soot's talkative today.
Can I help you?
So I'm just putting a little bit of Harlequin in
Don't you dare step on that keyboard.
because I like this. Oh my gosh. Somebody needs some attention. Is that what the problem was?
I don't know if you can hear it, but she's purring.
Yeah.
No, now she's meowing. Okay, I'll put you down. Jeez. So feed that cat.
To who?
Yeah, to the dog. You want to go see the dog? Come on, let's go see the dog.
Oh my gosh, what a mouthpiece. We don't usually leave her down here when we're filming because she's obnoxious. That's a good word for her. So I threw a little bit of Harlequin in because I really like it in there and it kind of fills up the space a little bit. Adds a little extra to it. So that is it. That is our Tourn Esol piece today.
Yay.
I had fun with it. Boop. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that one. I hope you guys did too. All right, guys, that is us. That is us for today. That is it for us today. English is a second language today. We're going to go upstairs. Happy hubby has a happy birthday tomorrow, so we've got to go make some goodies for him.
And gonna have late birthday gifts, but
yep. And yeah, he's got a couple of birthday gifts to open later in the week because they haven't arrived yet. So, all right, guys, that is it for us today. Thank you again for joining us today and every Saturday. We really do appreciate it, and we love seeing you. We love your comments. Remember, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you know when we go live and when we post new video. We do have a bunch of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. Reworking some of my older designs, playing with new products, and hopefully put together something fun for you so that you get something fun to play with on Saturday. And hopefully I will see you again right here next Saturday. If you are not a member of Creative Innovations in Painting on Facebook, please go and join up with that group, and then join me for a live class on April 15th. We are painting lilacs and daisies on a barnboard piece. I happen to love this piece, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, and who knows, there's a lot of great things that happen on Creative Innovations. And again, random act of kindness, little act of kindness goes a very long way, so check out our Facebook group. Also, check out Painting with Deb at paintingwithdeb.ca. So she's got a great stamp sale on this week. And we've got
code Easter21.
Yeah, the promo code is Easter21. If you are looking for brushes, don't forget to check out thebrushguys.com. Use the coupon code Tracy, capital T, RACY, capital M. It'll give you a nice little extra discount off of whatever you purchase on their site. And of course, don't forget to visit mine. We've got some new patterns going up. We've got new stencils up. We've got all kinds of cool things on the site. Oh, and those great little vintage bags are up there as well. All right. I think that's about everything. We've covered everything we need to today. I forgot what.
Decoart.com, Tracy.
I just like to make sure everybody gets covered.
There's links in the description. There's everything you need to know. Everything she tried to say is in the description. Click the links. Go check them out.
Yep. And above all, guys, have a safe and a very happy Easter. Mwah. I love you. We'll see you again soon.